morning children, I am Nisal. Today I am going to teach you science chapter. Okay, so in your science textbook we basically have 6 bio, 5 physics and 4 chemistry chapters. In that, let us start with the bio chapter, starting with the fundamental unit of life. Okay, that's the chapter what we are going to take. So what is it? The fundamental unit of life. So, before going to what is fundamental unit of life, you would have heard about atoms, molecules and all, right? And if you, I think in your lower classes you would have also seen a flow chart. Atom is the smallest particle that ever exists in the world, or in the these atoms combine together to form a molecule. Molecules together form matter. You would have seen that flow chart. We'll just see that's in particularly in chemistry basis. Okay, now we'll go according to the bio basics. Similarly, we do relate the same type of flow chart in our life also. So starting with the cell, that is the smallest unit of life. Okay, so let's go in detail. So I'll just try similarizing you with the chemistry and the biological flow charts. Let's see how it is. So starting with chemistry thing, I'll start with atom. So atom is the smallest structural unit that exists in the world. Okay, that is the basic smallest unit. What does unit mean? Smallest particle. Okay, which cannot be further divided actually physically. Okay, that's the smallest particle that which is a basic for entire matter that exists around whatever it is surrounding us, including us. Okay, so that is atom. Atom together, many atoms together combines to form, what does it form? It forms a molecule, right? What is a molecule now? So it's a combination of atoms. It may be same atom or different kinds of atom. Okay, so atoms together form a molecule. Molecules together form matter, and matter, finally, many combinations of all types of matter together forms compounds. Okay, so this is the flow chart you may be familiar with in chemistry basis. Now similarly we have similar kind of flow chart in our biology also. I'll just show you how it is. So we do relate it with an atom. What is it? It's the smallest part, right? Particle. Similarly, we have in the biology, that is relating to life, we have cell. You would have heard this word cell, right? You're familiar, I think. Not the mobile cell or battery cell. It's the biological cell that it's present in within us. Okay, and in all the living organisms basically. Yeah, so it is the smallest structural and functional unit of life. Okay, that is cell. How do we define cell? It is the structural and functional unit of life. That is cell. So that's why we say the fundamental unit of life. Fundamental includes both structural and function. That is the basic. Okay, that is what it means. Basic unit of life. That is cell. We are starting from here. We'll go into depth later on. So let's go forward. So how I am relating it in biological terms. So atom is similar to a cell. Okay. So similarly, let's produce the further flow chart. So cell is leading to many number of cells, like many the combinations of n number of cells will form, what does it form? It forms a tissue. It forms a tissue. Okay, then tissues together forms, what does it form? It forms an organ. Organs together form organ system, and organ systems together finally forms an organism. So I'll explain you what all are these. So starting from the cell, as I told you, cell is the basic or structural and functional unit of our life. Next is our tissues. What are tissue? Not your tissue papers, what you know, but there are something else called as tissues. That is, cells together form a particular tissue. So here cell, if there are n number of types of cells, okay. So in cells, let me give you some examples. I think you may know, but if you don't, let me give you some examples for cells. Starting with the cell, you may have heard of, let us start with the brain. The brain has a unit, that is a cell. N number of cells together forms the brain, okay. So what is the cell in present in our brain? That is nothing but neurons. If you don't remember, you would have learned some monstery kind of structure, right, which has a lot of branches and a very horror looking thing. Yeah, that is a nerve cell. The name is neuron, okay, that which is present in our brain. So that together forms a nervous tissues, okay. So another example, let me give you, that is, okay, let's go like that. So cell is, I am taking an example as now neuron, that is our nerve cell, together forms a nervous tissue, okay. Similarly, I am taking epithelial cells. I think even this you would have heard about in your lower classes, but if not, let me explain. This is your skin, right? In the skin, why do we have, what is the function of our skin? To protect, or just you have different types of like different colors, right? You may be fair, or you may be dark, you have the wheatish color. Is it just to show that? No. What is the actual like reason that we have this skin on our entire body, right? We are covered with skin. What is it, the outermost layer? It's for protection, basically, okay. Protection from any external bodies, okay. Yeah, so even external factors like sunlight, etc. Yeah, so the skin is made up of epithelial cells, okay. There are certain cells which are called as epithelial cells that makes this skin. So these skins together form an epithelial tissue, okay. Similarly, we have epithelial cells example for epithelial tissue. So basically, I think you would have got what is cell and a tissue. Yeah, so you would have now got what is the difference between a cell and a tissue. Now let's start. Let's go further. So tissues together forms an organ. What is an organ? You would have learned some basic 5 sense organs, right? In your right from your first standard, I think you would have learned what are the 5 sense organs in your body and all. Do you remember those? You should remember. I think you will, or if not, let me tell you again. Let me teach you from first standard, like a first standard kid. What are the 5 basic sense organs that we have? It's our eyes, nose. Why is eyes? Eyes for vision. Nose is for smell. Tongue is for taste. Our skin for touch, and our ears. Why are our ears? Not to wear beautiful earrings like this, but then to ear actually. Okay, to hear the or to hear the any audible noise, okay, noise or voice. So that's an organ. We have many, these are all external organs what we can see, right? We have internal organs, some VIP organs. They don't like, to be very free, and they always have some protectors, like these film actors or ministers do have, right? Yeah, they have many protection. That's our external skeletal system. Now internally we have some organs present. What are those organs? Example, kidney, heart, brains, lungs, what all we have. Those are the internal organs. That's an example for an organ. Now going from organ to organ system. So many organs and its extra structures which supports them together form as an organ system, okay. Now organ systems. Example for an organ system, Anybody know? Okay, if not, I'll just tell you. Organ system example is an excretory system. You would have even seen, right? Two bean-shaped things which we draw, and we draw two U-shaped or a snake-like tubes, and last we draw a sac. Basically, that's our excretory system. Okay, so those bean-shaped are kidneys, that is our organs, and with the supporting structure called ureter, and finally we have a bladder, urinary bladder. So that is our excretory system. So organs together form organ system. Next, what organ system to organisms. So organ system, basically an n number of organ systems. It maybe has different functions. Okay, I'll explain it into detail next. But still, n number of organ systems together form an organism like us, right? For us, multiple functions are carrying on inside us. We may not know, but it's happening. Only then our life is sustaining, right? So all these organ systems in us are working together to build us. That is what are the organisms. Now coming to organisms, we have n number of types of organisms actually, but still let me focus on two main things, like main types of organisms that you require. Okay, organisms has two types again. One is so we have major two types of organism. That is, one is unicellular organism and other is the multicellular organism. Unicellular organism, by the name only suggests that uni means just one, right? Yeah, so one celled organism. Or unicellular organism. What is an example? Example, amoeba, euglena, all these bacteria, all are unicellular. Then multicellular, what are we? We have n number of cells, right? We are not unicellular, we are multicellular organism. Example, animals, plants, all these. Okay, yeah. So organisms have majorly two types, unicellular, multicellular. There are many other, but these are enough for you. Yeah. Now let's go on to the detail of these things. Yeah, so let's start with each of the things what we saw here in the flowchart. Okay, starting with a cell, that is a basic unit, structural and functional unit of life. Yeah, that is a cell. Now starting with cell, as I told you, again I'm going in depth. Okay, so then yeah, definition. When it comes to a definition, it's not like other things. This you should note this point always. Okay, when you're facing your examinations, they see your definition should be with including the exact scientific words. Okay, you can write your own answers, like you need not mug up. You can write your own answers when you have a descriptive answer types, that is long answer types. But when they ask for definition specifically, you should exactly write the scientific terms, what is how the definition is in your textbooks. You better write the same thing. Okay, that's how a definition, that's why it's called a defined thing, right? It's called a definition. So you should be alert on that. So let me give you an exact definition of a cell. So what is it? I've repeated it many times. Again, let me repeat you. Please note it down if you want. It's the structural and functional unit of life of an organism. Okay, anything. So that is our cell. I've told you again the examples. Let me go again. It's neurons, our epithelial cells, and lot more. Okay, yeah. Now cells. What is a cell actually? Cell, when it comes, the definition does not actually, you may not understand by that single sentence, right? That one single definition may not suffice you to understand what is it exactly, right? Yeah. So let me, do you know who invented the cell? First discovered no one can invent a cell, but he can discover, because this already exists, right? Yeah. So who discovered our cell? Do you know? Yeah, it's not, it's a robot. It's not a robot, it's a robot. So it's a person named Robert Hooke. Okay, yeah. So that person, the great scientist, have discovered our cell. Not our cell, any cell. Okay, he basically discovered it from a branch. He took a bark a small bark of it, and he just cut a small piece, and then he just looked through a microscope, zooming it, so he could see the tiny, like you would have seen the honeycombs, right? If you haven't, it's fine. You would have seen our bricks, right, in our building. And similarly, he could see many such small brick like structures combined together. That's cell. That's how we discovered it. So let's go further. Types of cells I told you. So what is the function of a cell? So cell, as I told you, it's a basic structure and function of life. But why is it called so? Because it has a particular function to perform. As I told you, epithelial cells are named epithelial cells because it has only one function. What is its function? Its function is to protect our internal tissues, muscles, bones, anything what we have inside. Okay, so that's the main function. Similarly, we have other cells, as I told you, neurons, right? Neurons also, even nephrons. Nephrons are the basic unit of our kidneys. Okay, their function is for purification. Similarly, so every cell, different types of cell, as I told you, has a particular function to do. Like you are a set of cells. Don't mistake me. Why did I say that you are a set of cells? Because it doesn't mean you are just one cell. You are made up of multicellular, but you are like a cell. Let me take you as an example. Take you as a, what's your function? Now you are students. You are all put into a same class, right, with your classmates. Why are you all this? So I call you all cells because you have a particular function to do that. What is it? It's study, right? Study. So that's why you come to school. So that it's like that. So similarly is cell. Every single cell has its own function. Similarly is teachers. Teachers are a set of cells. Why? Their function is to teach you, right? Similarly is our cells. Now let's go on. So cell is something that has a main thing that helps in functioning, the all supports and enhances the function of the entire things which is present in a body of an organism. Okay, yeah, let's move on to the next. So I told you cells to tissues, right? That's what we have seen in that flow chart. Now it's tissues. So tissues, as I've told you, how is a tissue formed? A group, a bunch or a group of similar type of cells, okay, or similar function cells grouped together to form a tissue. Like another example, you have a group of friends, right? You don't just mingle with all your classmates. If you do, it's well and good, but not. You will have a particular group. Why is it so? Because you all have a same kind of thinking, right? Almost you all enjoy the same, maybe same sports or same kind of habits you have, or same kind of feelings you have one to each other. So it's similarly you have a particular group, and that's why you mingle that. Similarly ourselves, they all which have a particular character or particular function together, bound together to form a tissue. Okay, yeah, now let's go. Examples I told you, epithelial tissues, or you have nervous tissues, and similarly you have a number of tissues. Okay, yeah, next move on to the other thing, that is tissues together form organs, right? Yeah, so organs. What are the examples for organs? As I told, kidneys, heart or lungs, anything like that. Those are internal organs, right? Yeah, similarly for organs, what is the function of an organ? The function of an organ is to perform a particular job, anything, it may be anything. Okay, so example, the function of a kidney is to excrete, right, to purify our body. Similarly heart, what is the function of a heart? Heart function is not just to beat. You hear that lub sound. It's not just that, to create some music or something like that. No, yeah, what's its function? Its function is to circulate blood, right, blood throughout our body. Similarly, so organs all have a particular function to do. So let me take heart. Taking to like if I take an example of heart, What are the cells? It has particular cells called cardiac cells. Okay, so those actually they have n number of cells even in heart, because heart is made up of muscles. They have cardiac muscles. They have n number of tiny structures within the heart. So it has a n number of cells which actually coordinate to form a heart. So again, the tissues are called cardiac tissues, and those tissues together form our heart. Okay, yeah. Now let's move on. So the fourth one is organ system, right? Yeah. Why organ system? Here organ and here organ system. There's a system here extra. So what does that system mean here? It means, see, as it goes, the length increases, so they are arranged. No, it's not like that. No, it has some function. That system, the name of the system, the name system there indicates that. So this system, what does it mean? It's a unit that it follows a particular coordinates together a certain number of mini organs here basically to form a particular coordinate and form a particular function. Okay, a bigger function, let's say. So I told you excretory system, that only kidneys just sit alone and just can't excrete, right? It has the other structures coordinating together to push out our waste from our body. Okay, so yeah, so that is organ system. Now let me give you a different example again, relating to our real life. Now I told you organs are like us, right? The students and teachers, etc., they have particular functions to do. Now organ system is like your school. What is a school now? Many number of organs like you, teachers, I mean teachers like us, students like you, and also you have other non-teaching staffs who help you out throughout your day, and all your drivers, everybody there, your management people, everyone, right? Yeah, similarly they all organize to do a particular function. What is it actually? That is your schooling, right? Yeah, similarly is the organ systems. Together, all these things together forms an organ system to do a main job over there. Okay, yeah. Next, let's go to the next thing. Next, the final is our organisms, right? Yeah, so organism or organisms, so this is something that is made of all this combination of everything. Okay, n number of organ systems, n number of tissues, different tissues, n number of organs, everything together form a particular organism, as I told you, like us, right? How? Let us take an example of humans now. A human, as we have organ of eyes to see, and ears to listen, as I told you, taste, everything. And inside, what do we have? We have heart to circulate, kidneys. What are kidneys for? Excretion. Our skin for protection, our lungs to breathe, right? To exchange the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Yeah, and so on. So similarly is the organism. All this together can form organism. This, when all these things combine together in different forms, actually they combine together, form, and they give a life. Okay, if these are not there, life cannot sustain, right? Yeah, so that is organism. Yeah, so today let's again, I'm going again taking you to the flashback. That is the first thing what we started with is cell, right? Yeah, so maybe I've repeated it almost 10 times now. Yeah, let's again still study. There are a lot into cell, so we'll just study in detail. Cells, when we take the cells, I told you there are n number of cells, right? Different types of cells with different functions, and different where it present in different organisms are different. So let's start with the cell. Cell has two types mainly. It is categorized into two. That is one is our cell, that is animal cell. The other is plant cell. Okay, two types of cells which you need to study in detail with the diagram, which is an important question that you would face in your exams. Yeah. Now let's talk about those two main cells. So starting with animal cell, that is our cell, our children. So now let's see the structure, detailed structure of a cell. Okay, cell and its functions and its other parts within it, and we'll see the difference between our plant cell and our cell, that is animal cell. Animal cell, as I told you before, it has a different types of, we have different number of animal cells, right? So it has its own structure. So there is no particular structure which I can draw now. So I'll draw into an oval shape. I'll use an oval shape to represent the cell, animal cell. Okay. So let's start with it. So I'm gonna draw this. Then yeah. So I'm using this oval shape. Here this is an animal cell, so I'll just write the name. Okay, yeah. Now this is one layer, right? First outermost layer or covering of the cell. This is a membrane here. So the membrane is the outermost layer of the animal cell. Remember, of an animal cell. So as it is a cell and it's the outermost layer and it's a membrane, so what do we call it as? We can call it as a cell membrane, right? Yeah. So this is a cell membrane. The cell membrane has a number of names again. You can call it as semi-permeable membrane due to its function. I'll discuss it later on. And the next is it can also be called as a plasma membrane. Okay, yeah. So this is a cell membrane. So how do you label? So I have drawn a cell, and I'll just label it like this, and I'll write cell membrane. Yeah, so this is my, suppose this is my answer sheet, and I've drawn all the cells. Just imagine that I've filled everything inside. I've labeled everything, right? See, like this. So I'm getting full marks. No, I've got 1 mark here. I've got it. Is it so? No, I won't get any marks. You know why? Because this is the wrong method of labeling. It does not, no teachers will give you marks if you label like this. It's because mainly it's a wrong method. There's a particular methodology where you have to draw a diagram and label it. Okay, so I'll teach you here only that also, so you should focus on this also. See, basically whatever color, even though you feel, you think, you imagine that you have drawn your cell, you have made it very decorated with all colorful sketches or something, anything, and you are putting all the rainbow colors here, suppose, but still they give you 0 marks. Why? Because that's not the correct methodology. Your labeling should be perfect. So I'll show you how you should label. Okay, yeah, children, so I'll show you how to label. Okay, let's see. You should first start. This is what I'm gonna label, right? Our cell membrane. Yeah, so I'm putting dotted lines. It should be straight as much as possible. I'm using the dotted lines and a bright arrow mark indicating, and then we'll name it. What is it? This is a cell membrane. Okay, I'm writing in a short form. That doesn't say that you should also follow the same thing. You can just, oh, in exam, oh, teacher had written like that, so even I can no, because I don't have much space. I have to show you the plan cell also. I'm writing it in a short form. You should write complete in your notebook. If you're writing it now, right now, just write the full form. Okay, it's cell membrane. Yeah, now cell membrane, I've labeled it. This is the form you have to label it. Okay, yeah. Next, let's go to the central part. This is center of attraction for this cell. So I'll use another color here. So I'm using it. This in the center. Yeah, this looks like an omelette or something, like. No, it isn't. It's a cell. Now this part, this center of attraction, what I told you, is the CPU of the cell, and its name is, what is it called? It's called a nucleus. Okay, yeah, so this is a nucleus. As you can see here, I have just drawn one layer, right? Just one circle or oval. Here I have written two. Why is it so? This is because nucleus feels, I think, so unprotected, you know. So it feels like insecurity feeling is there for that. So maybe that's why it has two layers. So it's a double membrane structure, okay, within a cell. So I can call it as double membrane organelle also. What is organelle? I'll tell you in detail later. Now just remember that it's an organelle and it's double membrane. Okay, it's the center of attraction. Why is it? Because this is, I have told you before that it's the CPU of a cell. Yes, it functions as in your computer. Your CPU is a main thing, right? It stores, it has a memory, it actually controls it all over work, whatever you do in your systems, right? Similarly, your phone also, there will be a small chip that manages your entire thing, right? So similarly, it doesn't work if the CPU is there, not there. Your monitor is a waste, right? Yeah. Similarly, this is the main thing. It controls and coordinates the entire function that is happening inside this cell. Okay. Yeah. So what is it? Again, how to label it? I'm putting the dotted lines. And as much as possible, try to get the arrows aligned. Okay, that gives the more, it's a better way of labeling. So this is nucleus. Okay, yeah, so nucleus, and inside that we have some more content in it, that is, I just shaded nucleoplasm. Okay, yeah, so I'll explain. Even in cell we have that, but first let me focus into nucleus now. So it is nucleus is double membrane, and I called it as organelle. Yeah, so it's a double membraned organelle, and the membrane, the name of the membrane, what may be the name of the membrane? Now this is a cell, and the name of this, and it, the outermost layer was a membrane. So what was its name? It was a cell membrane, right? Similarly, this is a nucleus, and what is its membrane called? Nuclear membrane, nothing much. Okay, so this is nuclear membrane, and the specificity is there are two layers, that is double layer with the nucleoplasm inside. Okay, there are many more things that is contained inside, but that's not, let's not go so deep depth. Okay, yeah, so let's go to the next thing. So we have nucleus, nucleoplasm, and the nuclear membrane. Now this cell with the nucleus, okay, so from this cell contains two parts. Let's say it's not divided into two parts, but let's, for easy to make it easy, I'm telling it as two parts. Okay, the cell within the cell membrane has two parts. What is it? It's nucleus and the cytoplasm. Okay, the cytoplasm is basically nothing but the any other organelles like nucleus, okay, including nucleus, is lying within this cell, right? This space, it's like a fluid. So that fluid texture or content that is filled within a cell is called our cytoplasm. Okay, the cell cyto, so cytoplasm. Here I told you nucleoplasm. Similarly is the cytoplasm. Now the cytoplasm with the nucleus and other organelles together form protoplasm. Okay, yeah, so all these things including the cell membrane together, it's completely protoplasm. Okay, yeah, now this is the cytoplasm, as I told you. Now there are snake like structures. Okay, so I'll use another color. Now starting from, always you should remember while you are drawing this particular structure, you should start from the nucleus. Okay, you're starting from nucleus, and okay, even this is a tube like structure actually. So you'll have two tube, you should get a tube thing, right? It's similar to your intestine. Looks like intestine, right? It looks like snake also. We're not playing any snake and ladder here anyways, don't worry. But yeah, this is a structure, interesting structure inside it. Yeah, so what is it? This is called endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, what is it? Endoplasmic reticulum. Starting from nucleus to the end of the cell membrane. Okay, yeah, there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Again, from the nucleus, it doesn't restrict itself here. Okay, it can flow throughout. Actually, it goes like this. It doesn't have a particular way or path to be. So let me draw it this side now. Okay, yeah, so there's a small difference in it. Here there are some spots or bubble like structures in this endoplasmic reticulum. This is also an endoplasmic reticulum, but there are some bead like structures on it, which is called the ribosomes. Okay, the function of it is to synthesize the proteins basically in the cell. So first, that's not much important for you, but you should know the structure called ribosomes on this endoplasmic reticulum. And now I told you it's two types. So how do we differentiate? This is also endoplasmic, that is also endoplasmic. So how to differentiate? There's a name change in name. This is called a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Since there is no disturbance or any other bead, so it's smoothly flowing on, right? So let's name it as, I write it in the short form again. I remind you should write in the bigger form. Okay, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and this, what do you call it as when that is smooth? What is opposite? It's rough, right? Because all this has, it really looks like a snake, right? Though it's not a snake. Yeah, so let me, what is it called? It is RER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Yeah, now we have these structures. Now there's one more interesting structure which is one of my favorite. Do you know what it is? Have you heard something called suicidal bags or lysozymes? That's here. It's a sac or mango shaped, actually, a sac like structure within the cell. Okay, it's something like a sac like structure and is called the suicidal bag of a cell. Why is it called so? First of all, what is it called? I told you it is lysosome. See, I don't have enough place to write it here, so I'm taking it up and taking the arrow right side, so that maximum you should try to cover all the labelings towards one side, either right or left, it doesn't matter, but just see to it that you utilize your right space or any of one side, so that you can label everything there. Okay, yeah, so I'm taking it up. See, okay, so what is it? This is lysosomes. Okay, yeah, why is it called? I told you this is suicidal bag and this one's favorite, that's why it's my favorite, yeah, because it is called suicidal bag because it doesn't mean that it often commits suicide or something else, but what does it do? It has a certain chemical called lysozyme. Okay, that chemical digests the other bodies, whatever it is. It may be like your cells, as I told you, right? Your cells has a particular age limit, like us only. We have a particular age limit, right? And then we die. Similarly is our cells. Cells have a particular lifespan, what do you call? So that after that its lifespan, it just is collected here and it's digested. Okay, so that's why it is called as lysosome is called as a suicidal bags. Okay, yeah, so this is a lysosome, and I repeat, the chemical inside it which can digest, that's very strong, that it digests or just kills the cells. Okay, yeah, now lysosome. And one more main thing what we have, a few more. See, there's a some part of this endoplasmic reticulum along with some ribosomes actually just gets accumulated or distributed here. Okay, a part of it gets detached. These are called Golgi complexes or Golgi bodies. Okay, I'll label it. These are Golgi bodies or complexes. You can say anything. Okay, yeah. Now, the next important one of the structure is that may be your favorite, not your favorite, similar to you. Why did I say it's similar to you? Because it's highly active like you, highly energetic. You are the one, right, in your home who are highly energetic, and your mother, you just keep on jumping here and there, and your mother say, hey, enough, go sit and somewhere, no, silently for a few minutes, give me some tension free time, no, like that, right? Because you're very active, you'll be keeping on jumping, troubling others. Like now, similarly, this has a lot of energy. Okay, this particular organelle has a lot of energy, and it is the most active organelle in the cell. So what is it? That is our mitochondria. It's named as mitochondria. I'll draw it here. It somewhat looks like this. It has tiny finger-like projections within called crystals. Okay, we'll go into depth later. So for now, let's just learn the function. Yeah. So what is it called? This is called mitochondria. Okay, yeah. Now, what is the function of mitochondria? As I told you, it's very energetic, right? Energy packed. And so does this provide or serve energy for the entire cell to carry out each and every function that's happening throughout this organelle within a cell. Okay, so it is the powerhouse of the cell. It can be called as a powerhouse. What is it? Mitochondria. Okay, yeah. These are the main organelles what you need. There are much more, but there's some more small, not much important but yet important stuffs. Small membrane bound structures, as you can see, called vacuoles. What are those vacuoles? What is the importance of that? The vacuoles are for storing purpose. Okay, storing what? Not storing food. Sometimes it stores the excess of water or some metabolic waste what is produced within the cell. Okay, so that those are stored in these vacuoles. In animal cell, these are small and tiny and can be found here and there, like scattered here and there, very tiny. Okay, so this is a basic structure of a animal cell. Now let's just see the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. Okay, yeah. Now, what is an animal cell? Yeah, before that I forgot one more thing. What is an organelle? I should have told you, right? Yeah, I told you this is an organelle and others all are small tiny things contained in it are called organelle. What are organelles? As the name suggests, there's an organ inside, right? Like, what are organs? First of all, I explained you. What are organs? They have a particular function to do, right? Yeah. Similarly, these are organelles which have a particular function to do. Example, let me tell you an example. You know a leaf, right? Normal leaf. Is there anyone who don't know a leaf? What is a leaf? So innocent. Okay, let me show you what is a leaf. If you don't know, this is something called as leaf. Okay, yeah. So people who don't know leaf, so this is a leaf. Yeah. Now, let me say this isn't called a leaf, right? So just go to your run to your kitchens, open your fridges. You may find some curry leaves, right? Or ask your mom if you're not never stepped into your kitchen, what is a curry leaf? She may give you a branch of leaves, okay, a stem and many tiny leaves. Those are called leaflets actually. Leaf and leaflets. A branch or a bunch of leaves together on a stem. It's called a leaflet, okay? Yeah, similarly is this what organelles, okay, it's not organelles, don't remember that, it's organelles. So what are those? These are tiny organ like structures which are present within a cell to perform its own multiple functions, okay. It has mitochondria as its own function, right? What is it? To provide energy throughout the cell. What is the function of this endoplasmic reticulum? The main function of the endoplasmic reticulum is to give a skeletal support or a framework to the cell, okay, and for transportation. And then what is the purpose of the lysosome? To digest the waste or dead cells in it, and vacuoles to store, as I told. Similarly, nucleus is to control the end and coordinate the entire organelles and the cell function, okay. So these are called the organelles. They may be membrane bound, single layer, double layered, or even there are a few organelles which are not membrane bound as well, okay. Yeah, so this is about animal cell. Let's see the difference between the animal and the plant cell now. So plant cell is a bit different because it has a particular shape. It has a well defined rigid shape that is called it would be in a rectangular shape. So there is no other option for you, so you should draw a rectangular shape. So not a perfect rectangular, but there are some incisions in between, so you can draw it like this. Yeah, so this is the outermost layer of a cell. So what was there? It's our cell membrane, but here it's not a cell membrane. What is it? It has an extra protection. Why is it? Because plants especially they can't move, right? They are unable to move like us. Like as soon as sun just come, like it hits on our head as in noon time, we just run out, right? Run into our homes. Similarly, plants cannot do that, so they have an extra protection so that they don't get degenerated, or what do you say, die very easily, okay. So yeah, so the plants may get dehydrated also, right, due to the sunlight, like the excess water loss and all happens. So we have this extra protection called a cell wall. What is it called? A cell wall. This is basically a non-living part of the cell actually, because this has no different cells which has life in it, okay. It's just a protection layer that's formed. It's a polymer of cellulose. What is it? Cellulose. It therefore it's very rigid and it has a particular structure. That's a rectangular, as I showed. So this is a cell wall. So where do I label it? I don't have place decide, so let me utilize this only. I have to show you the difference, that's it. So I'll adjust it here. Cell wall, that's our first layer, okay. Yeah, now within it, what do we have here? Cell membrane. Similarly, we do have here also, that's our cell membrane, okay. Yeah, so we have a cell membrane. So I'm not labeling it because I told you it's a cell membrane only, which is different from that. I'll just label it, okay. Others you'll have to keep it in your mind. You should have a bit of memory, right? Yeah, so this is cell membrane. Now the next layer, again, what is it? I told you the center of attraction is our nucleus. In our animal cell, the nucleus is a bit what is stubborn, okay. It wants to be a center of attraction and it's there. But here in plant cell, our nucleus is a bit generous fellow. So what does it do? It comes to a side. So always in a plant cell, remember the nucleus is placed at a side like this. Okay. It's again double membrane. There's no change in that. So we have our nucleoplasm, nuclear membrane, double membrane, organelle. Yeah, our nucleus is on the side. And now, why is it? Why did it go to the side? Like, whom did it give the rest of the place to? Okay, that's nothing but we have a big old vacuole here. We have a bigger vacuole. Okay, this I told you in animal cell we have very less small tiny scattered vacuole, but here we have bigger vacuoles. Why is it? Sorry, why is it? That's basically because in plant cells, why is it? It's basically because as you can see, we have an excretory system totally, right? In animals, not in animal cell, in animals we do have a proper excretory system. So we have kidneys, we have ureters, we have urinary bladder, we have rectum, intestine, everything. So but then in plants they don't have such organs specifically, okay, for their excretion. So they can't let out the entire waste at a time. So they should store those waste, right? So to store those metabolic waste, they have this huge vacuoles. Okay, so they store excess of water, maybe the metabolic waste, anything that is produced within a cell is stored in this. Okay, yeah, so they have a bigger vacuole. Now when it is covered, so the nucleus is a bit inside. Now we have our endoplasmic reticulum as there, even we have in an animal cell. But then what is the main thing is that here, since you saw that it's in the center, doesn't mean you have to draw from here and make it into a center. No, that's wrong. It always starts from the nucleus. As I told you, it goes like this. It may go like this also, but I like that part, the topmost, and so I'm using that. That's it. Yeah, now so like this, you may draw like that also, it doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, so this is our endoplasmic reticulum. Again, you have smooth and rough, you can do it. So remember that it starts from nucleus and to the ends up in the cell membrane. Okay, not in the cell wall. I repeat, it's in the cell membrane only. Yeah, now we have vacuole. We have one more extra thing, that is an organelle in our plant cell. What is it? Let's see, what is it? It's our tiny chlorophylls. These are in many number. Okay, yeah, this is involved in our plant cell. There are many set of chloroplasts like this throughout the cell. It is in green color. Okay, so I've used the green color only to represent it, because it's in green color only. But these may not be in the same colors, but this is in the same color because it has a content called chlorophyll. Okay, so this is a chloroplast and the content in it is a chlorophyll, that is our green color, which our leaf, as I showed you. Let me show you once again. These are our leaf, right? Yeah, so these leaves are actually green. No, yeah, this green color is produced due to the chlorophyll. Okay, so similarly, these chlorophylls are used for photosynthesis. Do you know what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is nothing but preparation of food in plants. We have different methods. No, we prepare masala dosa, we prepare onion rice, we prepare biryani, we prepare dosa, idli, vada, right? But those plants do not have that option. They have to prepare their own food. For you, your mom prepares, right? For mom who brings the vegetables, maybe your father bring or you bring, you have many other helping hands. But those plants sitting or standing at the same particular place without any motion, they should prepare their own food. So where is this preparation of food happening? Is in this particular site called chlorophyll, which helps helps to carry out photosynthesis, that is known as the preparation of food. Okay. Yeah. Now, chloroplast is done. What else do we have? Nothing. All other organelles will also be similarly present in the plant cell as well. Okay. Yeah, these are the main changes and differences. Now, what is it? Let me label it. What is it? It's a plant cell, right? Yeah. So, this is it. Yeah, so let us conclude today's class. Okay, so we have finally where have we derived? We have derived the difference of the animal cell and the plant cell. So let's go through the entire portions. Okay, so what you have to do is I want all of you to close your eyes for 5 minutes. Okay, so for 5 minutes you have to close your eyes now, because this is the best way to recall all what we have done, so that you need not again sit and study or repeat and watch again. Okay, because this will get fixed in your mind. So this is a psychological tip. Okay, so you need not study again. Okay, if your parents ask you to sit and study again, you can just say, hey, no mom, I've already recalled it. Okay, this is the best tip. So you can do it in my class, you can do it this, and that's sufficient, but you have to obey me. Okay, just close your eyes now, and I'll slowly tell one by one what I've went through all this chapter till now. I'll just recall everything in a gist, so that you can recall what I have done. You can imagine. Okay, start imagine. Okay, yeah, now close your eyes. Let's start. Yeah, okay, now today's class we began by starting with the chapter name. What was it? It's the fundamental unit of life. Okay, the fundamental unit of life was our chapter name. And now what was next? We learnt about our cell. Before that, we just went through the flowchart of atoms, molecules, matters, and finally the compounds. What was an atom? I told you that atom was the smallest unit, structural unit that exists in this world, which is the smallest structural unit of a matter. Okay, next, atoms together form a molecule, and molecules together form a matter. Matter together combine, different sorts of matter combine together to form a compound, and so the flowchart continues. Similarly, that was chemistry basis. So now we are going with the biological basis. On the biological basis, relating to atom, what is it? We have a cell. So that is our fundamental unit of life, right? So what was the definition of a cell? The definition was the structural and functional unit of life is a cell, right? In any organism. And next, what did we go into? Many number of cells grouped together to form a tissue. We told the example, we have taken the example of an epithelial tissue for now, right? Yeah, and then these set of tissues together form a group and form an, what will it lead to? An organ, right? Which has a major function to carry on. So the set of tissues which perform a particular function group together to form an organ, and again these organs with its additional or supplementary structures to coordinating forms an organ system. What is an organ system? Organ system is a system which consists of several organs and its supporting structures with it to form organ system performing a particular process or a function, major function in our body. What was an example? Excretory system or circulatory system, and so on. And finally, all these organ systems combines and forms a organism. So organism, we have learned that two types, major two types. One was unicellular organism like bacteria or euglena, etc., amoeba, and other was multicellular organisms, right? Yeah, Multicellular organisms, example is plants, animals, human beings, etc. Then we went through, what did we go through? We went through the detailed discussion about cells, tissues, organs, organ system and organism. And then finally, what did we conclude? Came to the conclusion to different detailed structure of cell, and mainly we studied on diagrammatic representation with two cells, right? One was animal cell and the other was plant cell. So animal cell, when it came to animal cell, there was no particular shape, right? Because it has different shapes with different functions. It varies with its functions. And it had, the outermost layer was cell membrane. Then we went to the nucleus, that I told you it was the center of attraction, and then it was double layered. It had a nucleoplasm inside it, which is a fluid content, and the membrane is called the nuclear membrane. And finally we just went to the endoplasmic reticulum, that starts from the nuclear membrane to our cell membrane, right? That was one. And again, endoplasmic reticulum was divided into two parts. What were those? One was smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the other was rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum had ribosomes on it, right? Yeah. Then after that, we just drew a small sac-like structure called lysosomes with a chemical in it called lysozyme, and it is called as the, what is it called as? The suicidal bag or suicidal site of a cell. Next, what did we say? We went through the mitochondria. I told you mitochondria is an energy provider, and hence it is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Then later, finally, we reached to vacuoles, right? Vacuoles were small, tiny, here and there. It was scattered throughout in animal cell. It was very tiny and it was bound with a membrane called tonoplast, and the function was to store the excess water in a cell or some waste products. Then what was the difference with respect to the plant cell? In plant cell, we had an extra outer covering called as cell wall, right? It was rigid and it had a rectangular shape and it was made up of cellulose. Later, the inner layer was our cell membrane, which is similar to the animal cell, right? And then we had our nucleus, but the difference in plant cell is that the nucleus is at a side, right? It was placed at a side in some corner of a cell. Then the major part was occupied by vacuole, right? A bigger vacuole. So what is the difference in plant cell? We have a bigger vacuole than animal cell. Why is it? Because to store the major excretory products or the waste materials that are excreted within a cell and the excess water. Finally, the all other organelles what we had is also present in plant cell as well. These are the major differences, right? And then there we concluded our thing. Yeah, one more is in plant cell we have one more extra organelle. What is it? It's the green colored cylindrical shaped or round oval shaped structures called chlorophyll. Chloroplast. Chloroplast contains a green color pigment called as chlorophyll, which helps in the photosynthesis, which is a process of synthesizing food in plants. Okay, children. Now you can open your eyes. Yeah, this is, I think you would have gone through everything, right? You could imagine the entire class in a gist, no? So this is the best way. That's why I told you to close your eyes for 5 minutes, right? It didn't take more than 5 minutes. So this will do, try doing it every day throughout our class. So this is how we are till here. We went through our class till here. So let's wind up the class thank you. In case if you have any kind of suggestions of improvement in my class, you can just tell me, let me know. I can try myself changing. And then also if you have any sort of doubts or clarifications, please do ask me, okay, without any delay, so that I can give you more better explanation to it. So thank you. Bye. Take care. Stay safe at home. Bye.